Hello, and today we'll be playing the newest update of Hill's Advent. So this new update will be for Kody, and they're going to explore this new city that they all arrived in. In case they didn't see the last video about the trial and everything, Dave was sentenced to, the jury declared Dave guilty, so the guild master had to decide what punishment to give Dave. So the lesser of the two punishments was for him to be exiled, so everybody is going to come with Dave away from Crystal Coast, and they're going to go to other cities on their quest to deal with the evil king. We made it. That's a lot of guards around the gate. The city must be on high alert. Do you think they'll even let us in? We'll proceed with caution. We can't be making fatal mistakes this early in the journey. Max took his place in front, leading you all towards the city's gates at the bottom of the hill. As you approached the gates themselves, you could make out the figure of several guards stationed outside, more than the two guards you would expect from a video game. Halt, state your herald and business. I'll handle this. Don't say anything needless, Ray. Don't worry. From your place next to Kody, you watch Ray spur his hoof forward to meet the guard a bit away from the main gate. Hello there, gentlemen. Yeah, we're not currently interested in your services, Raymond. Maybe it was your imagination, but the guard seemed to suffer uncomfortably, having to turn down Ray. What? Hey, wait, I'm not here looking for a good time. We're here from Crystal Coast at Guildmaster Alex's orders to coup the evil king. So that missive was a mistake. They really are sending more troops or another suicide mission. This whole ordeal must have driven the governor mad. Darn straight. How can he still think about dethroning the king, when his city is in shambles? I take it you've already been made aware of Palermo's situation? Yes, a courier came earlier in the day to inform General Whitmore. As well, he instructed us to take you to him. He wishes to personally discuss matters with you. We'll have you escorted to him. Do not speak to anyone and keep your hands away from your weapons and Fossey. Don't give us any more reason to distrust you. I will make sure my squad behaves themselves. Please lead the way. Come towards the rest of the guards. A smaller door within the gate opens, allowing for you and your mounts to enter the city. Sees what's with the code with Selson. They've been living on the border of the archives with Parent Field. They've only survived this long through necessary precaution. This place feels totally different from when I first arrived in Crystal Coast. The guard in Crystal really kept the pressure off everyone. Crossing the threshold of the great iron gate, the fortress's interior stood in stark contrast to its ramparts and fortified exterior. The buildings and streets appeared clean and orderly. The architecture reminiscent of modern-day brutalism and chalky tones function over visual appeal. Several guards stationed near the entrance approach you, cautiously taking the reins of the hose from the riders. You'll have to leave your mounts here. We can't have them run amok within the city streets. You were forced to comply as the others dismount first, Kody keeping you down. But whoa, somehow your foot slipped, causing you to fall off the horse only to fall into Kody's arms. Easy there, Dave. Good thing I caught you. Phew. Thanks, Kody. The bear sneaked in a quick hug, pressing you into his body before letting you settle on your feet. Let's go. We shouldn't keep them waiting. The bear indicated to the guards already prepared to escort your group. Being escorted down what appeared to be the main road, you could feel the air heat up as you approached the large chimney that towered over the tops of the buildings. As you rounded the corner, a deafening roar of fire filled the town square, a fresh wave of heat spilling through the streets. From high above, from the towering black chimney's exhaust, flickered a gout of flame. Several people clad in heavy-duty foundry equipped quickly serviced the hearth with hasty precision. The guards took you around the perimeter of the furnace, delivering you in front of a large, stately building that sat directly behind it. Behind it, These are the ones. Let General Whitmore know they have arrived. Understood. You best behave yourselves. This isn't your Palermo. You speak to General Whitmore with respect and deference. Be grateful he has accepted to meet with you all. General Whitmore awaits. Get going. Without further direction, you feel and one by one quickly directed past the small reception room towards the staircase to the second floor. The second floor landing opened up to a hallway with Whitmore's office in the furthest room. General Whitmore, your guests have arrived. Right, send them in. The guard ushered you in, holding the door wide open, closing it behind you as soon as you had all huddled into the office. The room was much smaller than Alaric's, but the claustrophobic proportions, muted colors, and rigorous organization filled you with a sense of unease. Some new music here. The man sitting behind the desk rose to greet you, and also by the telltale marks running from his eyebrows through his hairline. You caught his gaze almost at eye level with you, compared to the imposing yet welcoming form of Alaric. He caught his gaze almost at eye level with you, compared to the imposing yet welcoming form of Alaric. His stature was shorter than Max in a way, though his piercing caramel gaze commanded obedience. Welcome, men of Palermo. The general spoke up again, his distinct accent much more apparent now that you were all in front of him. Who among you is this Dave? That would be me, sir. You stepped forward from the squad, leaving yourself open to be scrutinized by the stern-looking general's sharp gaze. I hope you were treated well by my men on your way here. Allow me to cut to the chase. The general briefly glanced aside, changing his tone almost immediately. Governor Alaric has sent message that a deployment of his mercenaries were to arrive today, and that we are to give aid on their journey to confront King Leonhard. I was told that among their ranks was the prophesied hero we've been waiting for. From what I see before me now, I can see the merits behind this last resort. I appreciate your confidence in me, sir, but I've still much to learn. You saw as his eyes sought wide open, though his expression did not waver. Sensible man, you'll get far with that attitude. You felt Max's hand rest onto your shoulder, casting you a look to allow him to inject himself into the conversation. Sir, General Whitmore, is it at all possible for us to rest and resupply here? With Palermo in ruins and our circumstances, we'll need all the resources we can muster. We intend to make our way to Venezia. However, due to the political climate, we can't be certain if they'd be willing to aid our cause. Firenze was our first choice for its treaties with Crystal Coast. That's right, we are duty bound to collaborate. However, it does not mean we will agree to any request without question. Hang on a tick. Are you technically part of Crystal Coast too? That's right, under the color of the treaties, Firenze is part of Palermo's sovereignty. Governor Alaric and I have been in communications to support one another. However, we are and always have been independent of Crystal Coast's politics. We've sworn allegiance to the city of Palermo to improve our chances of survival against that bastard king's influence. It would be well within my authority to have you escorted out the way you came. However, I cannot, in good conscience, turn you away without a fighting chance. You will be allowed to wander within the city walls and barter for supplies with those in it. In return, you will not be offered lodging nor be allowed within our walls by dusk. The guy spoken to us discussing at the oscillates words, evidently taken aback by the specific limitations. May I ask the reason for such stipulations, General? Though brief you could, catch out the corner of your eye as Whitmore's gaze flicked to you for a moment before establishing eye contact with Max. Part of Alaric's missive included the details regarding Crystal's downfall. We were made aware that a traitor had ingratiated himself among your ranks. I do not doubt that Governor Alaric has the utmost faith in you. However, I will not run that risk with our great furnace. For the sake of Firenze, that sea may still stand. Understood, General Whitmore. We betray the clemency you have given us. Returning to his seat at his desk, the oscillate seems to quickly engross himself upon the papers on his desk, giving his final address to you. Yes, now leave. You waste precious daylight. You only have until the curfew bell at sundown to get your affairs in order. I advise you save us the trouble of hunting you down and allowing yourselves to be escorted out at that time. The guards will take you to the city's borders, where you may set up camp in our jurisdiction should those beasts beset you. That is more than we could have asked for, General. You have my thanks. Very good, guards. Very good. Guards. Our business is done. Ordina Pasquita. Whitmore visibly folds up at the phrase, languidly lifting his head to meet that of the Malamute leader. He gave Max a discerning squint as he maintained his salute proudly. Ordina Pasquita. Dismissed. Going out the same way you came, the guards escorted you back to the main square, leaving you without question to wander freely, like tourists abandoned by their tour guide. I suggest we split up. That way we can use our time more effectively. I agree. I'll have to check what I'll need from the tavern here. I'll go with you then. I'll need to take everyone's weapons to be maintained at the forge while we're here. There isn't much for me to do here. I'll stay by the stables. I don't want them rummaging through my gizmos. If you guys have that all covered, I guess I'll stretch my legs for a bit. Rather than holes is good and all, but I need to use my legs sometimes. What about you, Dave? What are you doing? I guess I'll see what I can find out. There's still a lot I don't know about this whole war. Okay, there's some loud car going by this interstate here. Yeah, I heard that. Max seemed taken aback when the comment, Ray and Alex averting their gaze is seemingly as if not having informed you better about the stakes placed upon you. Alright, then it's settled. We'll meet back here at the Great Furnace when the curfew bell chimes. Noted. Now, less talking, more walking. Get a move on, people. Oh, that's right, Dave, yes? Take this. The bear handed you an empty pouch, seemingly larger than the ones typically seen for holding coins. Oh, a bag? A goodie bag, yes. Since you'll be managing your own supplies, would be nice to have your own bag to hold everything, no? Yeah, good call. Thanks, Kody. Take care now. I'll see you with the others later. With that, the group broke, heading in separate directions, leaving you without direction in front of the city hall. A cursory glance of your surroundings, you spot an old weathered map nailed to a notice board next to City Hall. It seemed to predate the current layout of the city, but it would serve as a place to start. Where should you go first? Visiting the general's office. You decided to go back into City Hall. There were still some questions that you wanted to ask General Whitmore. However, as you approached the staircase, you were stopped by the guards. Hold. You do not have permission to enter here. I just have a few questions for General Whitmore. The general is a very busy person. Anything you need to ask, you can ask his secretary. They pointed over to their desk a short distance away from the stairwell. Okay. You turned back to them. Neither seemed particularly eager to hear anything else come out of your mouth. Not trying to test their patience, you walked over to the front desk. Behind the desk was yet another guard, oddly enough, though without the helmet to obscure that they were a mouse. Only not as small as the only other mouse you had met. Good afternoon, how may I help you? Hey, I have a few questions about Firenze. Sure thing, how may I address you? I'm Melody, by the way. She reached over to you, shaking your hand without further prompting. Oh, Dave, I'm Dave. What was it that you wanted to ask about, Dave? What would you like to do? What can you tell me about the great furnace outside? It's a furnace. What do you think? Right, I guess I walked into that one. The mouse girl chuckled to your brief bewilderment. I meant, why is it so important to the city? There's not much I'm authorized to tell you, aside from the obvious. The furnace is just that. It's the main source of heat for most of our metalwork and artisanal needs. The smoke it produces seems to disorientate nether beasts, though it doesn't deter them to the levels of Crystal Coast's barrier. I see. Is there anything else you want to know? Monarch Friedrich Leonhardt, right? Is that his actual full name? I wouldn't know his name. It never really came up while I was in Crystal Coast. Yes, most outsiders wouldn't know this, but our people have studied quite a bit about who he was, where he came from. I suppose it's not wrong to call him evil, though no one around here likes to call him king. So I thought maybe with a line under there, it might be in the clicking, but it's just a line there for emphasis. We don't like to recognize his authority around here, especially not within General Whitmore's presence. Right. Do you know how he became like this? Well, according to our academy professors, it was a meteoric rise. Back when I was a little girl and General Whitmore was just Lieutenant Whitmore. Firenze was called Firenze, the city of eternal blossoms. Around that time, rumors were spreading that a new monarch had taken the seat of power of Gallant. It seemed like his influence followed closely behind these rumors. The refugees that brought those rumors said Leonhardt had somehow distorted the harmony in the crystals. We're still not sure what that means. All the testimony was unreliable. That must have been tough to grow up with. I wouldn't know. It's the only life I've known. Can't help you with anything else? It's not looking good, according to our scouts. How bad is it really? The amount of nether crystals, the amount of nether creatures have been increasing over the past week. The increase in numbers have emboldened them to attack the city walls directly. So far, they've never breached the interior. Whitmore said they were exchanging reports with Crystal Coast. Do you trade news with any of the other cities? The only other city we have any contact with is Firenze. When I last spoke to their courier, it seemed like there was some amount of internal conflict among their ranks. I hope he's doing alright. Oh, speaking of Firenze, we got a weird report about an unnatural fog rolling towards the settlement. Some of the glass eyes, it was definitely magic in nature. Sorry, glass eyes. You have soldiers who focus on using their elemental foci over melee and ranged weapons. Oh, mages. Nah, they aren't as frail as those bookworms. But that wasn't the weirdest part. One of the archers said they spotted a feline-shaped silhouette at the center of it. That's definitely Ashford. Anywho, do you need anything else? Actually, if you don't mind, the personal question about your name, does it sound sort of out of place? Well, yeah, because it's a nickname. Oh, so your actual name is. The mouse secretary seemed to avert her gaze momentarily before looking back at you bashfully. Ashley, my squad mates call me Mousley for some reason. You better not get any ideas, Buster. Jeez, I haven't even said a word. Good. Best keep it that way. Capiche? So, you often wear that armor too? Yes, did you expect me to be in some kind of castle, fighting its evil residents? Shouldn't that be your role to play hero? Well, I don't even... well, that's enough about me. Is there anything else you'd like to ask? Nothing else I can think of. I guess I'll just go back to exploring on my own. Alrighty, glad I could help. Take care. Looks like you're done here. We'll turn to the map. Visiting the mess hall. You decide to go to the mess hall in the hopes of finding ingredients to stock up for the journey ahead. Much like some of the other buildings, the mess hall was built with minimalism in mind. The exterior built tough with a cavernous interior to hold all the hungry soldiers still clad in their uniforms, winding down with their dinners. Towards the back was a counter, behind which you spotted Kody examining the back rooms with what you assumed was the cafeteria server. He scrutinized the ingredients in the shelf, boxes, and sacks under the watchful eyes of the staff. Excuse me, this is the mess hall, right? Can I buy some rations off of you? Yes, though. Don't get your hopes up for anything big. We haven't been getting any large shipments lately to spare months. That's alright. Can I look at what you can spare? Sure. See that bear back there? Just pick something from that area and bring it here. I'll go back to Kody. You decide to approach the Kody. The Kody. Hey, Kody. Oh, hey, Dave. Looking for supplies too? Was there something specific you wanted me to make? Not really, just seeing what they got. What about you? You look like you can't find what you need. I was hoping to get some ingredients for everyone's favorite meals, but the quality isn't quite what I would have hoped for. You can't expect much when it looks like they only keep preserves here. I know I can't be picky about it, but I'm not going to overpay on subpar ingredients. We have to make every coin last. That's true. Spend time with Kody. That's Kody's route. So, Kody, yes, have you learned anything useful while you've been here? Not really. Most of what I heard from the kitchen staff is how Crystal Coast's fall will affect their supply chain. The city will prioritize supplies for the rebuilding effort, that's for sure. Yeah, they're already being stingy of what they're willing to let go, and what they do sell. It's getting price jacked for the impending scarcity. They're setting some pretty cheap cuts of game meat for a whole gold price, and it's already a few days old. Can't they hunt for more game meat like we did? They can, but without the protective barrier of the archive, most of the wild game animals are becoming corrupted. Why, all the ones we killed in Crystal Coast. Is there nothing that can be done about it? Nothing short of cutting out the problem from the source, the king. I hope we can actually do that. I believe we can. We have you on our side after all. You know it. I'll take that king down personally and restore peace across the land. It's no big deal for a hero like me. Looks like you're done here. We'll turn to the map. Making your way back to the great furnace, you notice Kody approaching from one of the side streets. He waves you down to catch your attention. You wait back, waiting for him to catch up to you. There you are, Dave. I was hoping I'd find you. Hey, Kody, what do you need with me? I just need a moment of your time, if that's all right. Sure, there's still light out. Where do you want to go? I'll tell you when we get there. Follow me. You nodded, following closely behind the Barracks. He guided you back through the side streets. Navigating away from the city center, the great industrial aesthetic is immediately replaced with more rustic buildings, some resembling the architecture of those found in Crystal Coast. He stopped you in front of a small tavern, worn away with the elements. The paint had begun to chip off, and the wood had rotted from water damage. That didn't seem to stop it from hosting a few somber clientele inside, all wearing armor like the rest of the residents. Kody pulled out one of the rustic chairs from an outdoor table, inviting you to join him. Thanks, Kody. What's this place about? When I was looking for places that sold ingredients, I caught scent of something delicious along the back streets. I followed my nose, and it led me here to this lonely stop. I followed my nose, and it led me here to this lonely stop. I thought we could share a meal while we're here. Did you check what they serve here? Nothing fancy, just some smoked and cured meats. Before Kody could take his seat with you, the tavern door opened. Stepping out was an elderly capybara woman, a soot-smudged apron hanging from her shoulders. Oh, it's you, cub. I'll have your food out in a moment. Turning right around, she went back into the tavern. She reemerged not long after with a modest charcuterie board filled with smoked, cured, and preserved meats, accompanied by the familiar Yamatos in a pale, murky soup. Thank you for the patience, boys. Enjoy. Well, help yourself. There should be enough for two here. All right. You both dug in without delay, taking the slices of meat from the board, savoring the cornucopia of flavors offered you. Though you couldn't tell where each slice had come from, there was a definite distinction you couldn't quite place. Nothing as simple as discerning pork from beef or even veal, let alone that the different methods of preservation used from salted, smoked, and cured. The baked Yamato wedges were the baked Yamato wedges were soaked in butter, giving it contrast with the mixture of the meat. The soup was light with no distinct flavor, but it helped wash down the meat without obscuring its flavor, leaving a refreshing tang on your tongue. You hadn't realized how hungry you had been up to this point. It had been a welcome detour to your supply hunt. What do you think, Dave? Is it worth it to stock up on these? Hell yeah, this stuff's so good. I'm surprised they even have a place like this. Everything around here feels so barren. I wouldn't have guessed there were still regular businesses here. Like I said, you can only live off rations and survival meals for so long. It was inevitable for someone to strike out and innovate. It was inevitable for someone to strike out and innovate. The tavern mistress couldn't travel far when the tavern mistress couldn't travel far when the people migrated to Crystal Coast a few years back. She used to run a butcher shop before her grandchildren moved away. They used to hunt the game meat for her to prepare, and it seems like the soldiers have been happy to fill that spot for them in exchange for delicacies like these. I ordered a little of everything they had on the menu to get an idea of what the team might like. This must have cost you quite a bit. You reached for your coin bag only for Kody to stay your hand. The meal's on me, Dave. I thought we might indulge a bit before we leave again. Our future is uncertain. I'd like to make the most of what's left of it. Kody. Come on, a dour mood will only ruin the taste of the meal. That's no way to return her hospitality. Are you sure about this, Kody? I always expected to spend the rest of my days working that tavern, Dave. The Crystal Coast, I'm not sure what to do with myself. I thought I finally made up my mind when I saw the tavern in the state it was in. But here I am hesitating all over again. The bear reached for another slice of spiced meat. His once voracious appetite seemingly curbed. Just as he had said, your stomach suddenly felt repulsed by the last slabs of fatty cuts on the stained board. The silence was getting uncomfortable. Even the murmurs from within the tavern did little to offset it. Those days don't have to be over, Kody. If we put an end to the Evil King's reign, we could go back to those days. We'll be able to reopen the honeysuckle again, you and me. You want to continue working at the tavern with me? Well, I'll tend side too if he's still looking for work after all this. We'll need a fourth assistant, but this time I'll make sure to screen them properly. Yeah, but we'll take it as it comes. Something we can look forward to. A new milestone to work towards. Open up a tavern. Making a new life with you. You told mid-sip of your soup after toasting to the bear. I thought you meant No. You just have to be careful when you say these things. But right, sorry. Your face dropped, displeased with the bear, still unsure of himself in your presence, reaching over the table despite both your hands covered in grease and crumbs. You held onto his. Listen, I want that too, Kody. Thank you, Dave. He clasped his other hand over yours, a side smile returning to his snout along with a modest blush. I'll make sure we get back home safely. I promise the same. I'll get us all back home safely. Thank you, Dave. Thank you. With renewed spirits, you both polished off the remainder of the platter. Kody urged you to go on ahead of him as he planned on purchasing a few pieces for the road. Thanking him one last time for the meal, you headed back to the city center, back in front of City Hall. Visiting the Barracks. You make your way off the main road towards the barracks, hoping that maybe some of the soldiers will be willing to devote anything valuable to your journey. As you approach, a few of the soldiers were sat at a card table just outside of the barracks. Hello. Who's the kid? Don't think I've seen your mug around here. The first person to respond to you, lazily holding a hand-rolled cigar between his lips, with a kangaroo with a gaunt face. It was a kangaroo with a gaunt face. His eyes sharp with demeanor, slack in his chair, barely looking you up and down. I'm Dave. I'm here on business. Dave, you're the one we've been told to keep an eye out for, ain't ya? The jackal sitting next to the kangaroo chimed in, setting his cards down onto the table. He turned his whole body to face you, hands supported on his knees as he maintained eye contact with you. Keep an eye out. Yes, the general warned us about your group. It's nothing personal. The last person to join the conversation was a deer, younger looking than the other two, and mostly a remarkable young man with the manners of someone still unbroken by the world. What were you looking for out here? Any tips for surviving in the surrounding areas? The three at the table took a moment to think, with the deer being the first to speak up. Yeah, it's raining outside, so it's getting heavy, so yeah, that's what that noise is. So just deal with it. The three at the table took a moment to speak, with the deer being the first to speak up. Make sure to keep up morale by interacting with your squad mates. When you're in high spirits, you'll have an easier time looking after each other. The jackal followed up, pushing 3 wooden cubes towards the center, likely substitutes for poker chips. Make sure you know how long you intend to travel. Don't want to get caught running out of rations far away from the city. You don't want to get stuck in a bad area when night falls. The kangaroo was the last to pitch in, tapping the ashes off his cigar. Don't waste your time running in circles. We get paid by the day, but after a point, staying in the same place for too long won't yield any results. Any benefits, really. Right. What do you guys usually do to pass the time? Sex. Every single time, no doubt about it. The kangaroo spat out, an immediate self of his demeanor being able to bring up the subject. There's nothing like a little pole in the whole action. Yeah, that seems to be the only thing you ever want to do. It's why the general keeps you on latrine duty now. What do you know? You probably never been laid. I'm not falling for that old bait. You're just a pervert. Come on, hey you. What? What do you think? Don't you think having a bit of fun? Don't you think having a bit of fun with your mates is the best way to improve morale? Anything. Maybe someone special. If you had a designated partner, I could see the benefits of it. Just remember there's a time and a place for it. Sure. Well, when you're not having a nightcap, selling some stories around the bonfire tends to be a good activity. Taking a load off to just let your body and mind at ease. Getting to know each other better in this crazy world. Making up stories and inventing new games to distract ourselves with. Yeah, those were the days. Huh? Are you alright? Don't mind me. Just getting nostalgic for better times. Actually, why don't you take these? Oh, you just keep a spare deck on you? Yeah, well, usually I swap out the decks now and then in case anyone cheats. He directed a pointed look towards the kangaroo, conspicuously fumbling with the sleeve of his uniform. You got something to say to me? Say it. I guess we won't be needing them after all. Are you sure? I insist. Take them for the trouble our comrades caused you. Thank you, sir. Please, just Mortis. It's fine. Well, thanks, Mortis. You opened the wooden case to see the waxy cards stacked neatly. Counting them out, they did indeed make a full poker deck. Despite having different suit designs, there were still only 4. You know how to play any card games. I fear I could always ask my team if they can teach me any. If nothing else, you could make your own games to pass the time. Make a few happy memories while you're at it. Thanks, I think I will. Have you seen anything unusual in the area in the past few days? There was one thing. A cloud of fog was seen traveling eastbound. Some of the rangers were saying there was someone in the middle of it. Those layabouts see nether beasts in their own saddles. They must have imagined it. And when did they say they saw it? It was just yesterday, wasn't it? Yes, the same day we felt that shockwave. We received a report this morning about it. Oh yeah, that's right. I see. Thanks for the information. The jackal shifted in his seat, a sudden gloom dragging down his features. Sounds like you've got some idea as to what that was. Only a theory. Well, keep it to yourself. We don't need more speculations going around. Ignorance is bliss, you hear? That's fair, I guess. What can you tell me about General Whitmore? General Whitmore, up until a few years back, he was just Lieutenant Whitmore. I guess that's how they call him, lieutenant instead of lieutenant. It's not a title that he holds with particular pride. Why wouldn't he? He was doing a siege when Leonhardt's army first hit our borders. Former General Brixton was killed while leading a charge, leaving former Lieutenant Whitmore in charge in her place. It was General Whitmore who had us refocus our resources into fortifying Firenze. He didn't want us to suffer the same fate that Venezia had. Sounds like the general made drastic changes on his superior's death. General Brixton was a whirlwind of a woman. She could decimate entire squadrons with the swing of her warhammer. She was the envy of Firenze's ladies, catching the sights of wayward suitors. Even Whitmore wasn't immune to her charms. Talk around town. She was trying to court her. And it sounded like he'd be successful. But she said she'd give him a definite answer once the war was over. Another tragedy at the hands of the evil king. How do you know all about that? Yes, where did you come from? Where did you come by this information? What is this? Some kind of intervention? I just heard it through the grapevine like anything else. The kangaroo seemed to close himself off on the matter, even under the intensity of his cohort's stares. Still, I can understand why he's taken security so seriously. Indeed, and so far it spared our little city. At least it fared better than what happened to Palermo recently. I think that's all I need to know for now. I'll let you get back to your game. Alright then, make sure you abide by the general's orders. I will. It was nice getting to talk to you. Take care. Come on, you nannies. Come on, you nannies. Let's keep playing so I can clean you out. The three returned to their game, completely forgetting your presence as the cards and wood chips shuffled across the table. It was probably best to move on. Looks like you're done here. Returning to the map. Well, they were a lot friendly. They were a lot more friendly than I thought they would be. I thought they'd be all strict and serious. With all of them. I guess we go back here. Visiting the general's office. Returning to the city hall, you strolled in, heading straight to the front desk where Melody was still standing. Oh, welcome back. Was there something else you wanted to ask about, Dave? Nothing else I can think. I guess I'll just go back to exploring on my own. Alrighty, glad I could help. Take care. Looks like you're done here. This bird chirping here is getting really annoying here. Return to the map. So you go back here. Visiting the mess hall. When you returned to the mess hall, you found it a lot quieter than the first time you were there. Hey, you're back. Money burning a hole in your pocket? You know how it goes. Leave me some cash with the goods you can dash. So, Kody, yes? Have you learned anything useful while you've been here? Naturally, most of what I've heard from the kitchen staff is how Crystal Coast's fire will affect their supply chain. The city will prioritize supplies for the rebuilding effort, that's for sure. Yeah, they're already being stingy of what they're willing to let go. And what they do sell. It's getting price jacked for the impending scarcity. Oh, it's poor. Oh, we went through this here. I'm going to turn the map. Something new. As the guards ushered you all outside, we immediately went looking for a place to set up camp. As the others joined in the effort, it didn't take long for them to find a clearing not too far away, as the dragon drove a wooden stake in the ground, tying a bright red cloth to the top. This is so their sentinels have a clear line of sight to your camping grounds. In case of emergencies, yep. As everyone gathered around the marked spot, tents were quickly set up in a blink of an eye. Oh, that was fast. Guess this wasn't their first outing together. The others then headed off to their designated tasks. Kody at the fire pit preparing dinner. Alex tending to his gadgets and gizmos. Matt's going through everyone's equipment. Ray seemed to be gathering more firewood nearby. Not long after, dinner was ready as everyone wordlessly gathered around the fire pit. Aside from the change in scenery, this didn't feel too dissimilar from when you set up camp at the Akai. Most of dinner time was spent with everyone exchanging their findings during the day, as you also chimed in with what you've gathered. The Firenze locals have cited suspicious activities in the nearby woods not long after the guardian crystal's fall. A dense fog was also seen towards the general direction of Firenze. That will present quite an obstacle to our journey towards Firenze. Agreed. While we don't have definite proof, based on what we've seen, that fog might very well be Ashford. And if that really is the case, we may run into an unprecedented concentration near the creatures and army along the way. We should prepare for the worst. Yeah, I'll take first sentry for us tonight. You sure about that, why? Yeah, why not? My sense of smell might not be as sharp as yours, but I can keep an eye out even when the fire pit burns out. Well, your night visit is the best out of all of us. Well, if there's nothing urgent, I'll be on my way. I want to do some maintenance on my gadgets, especially this early on. Good call. We'll leave it to you then, Alex. Actually, I should clean up as well. Guess everybody got their thing to take care of. Wait, hold on. Where's it, Dave? Look what I got. You bring us a box of playing cards you got from the Barracks. Alex's eyes widened as he saw what's within. Huh? Peculiar. Where did you get your hands on that? One of the guards gave it to me, actually. Said we should use it to play together sometimes. Alright. What's so special about those? Aren't they just the usual deck you can get around in the marketplace? No, Max. It's not just any deck. Take a look at the illustrations on the cards. Alex grabbed the box from your hand and took out 4 of the face cards. There were 4 figures instead of just a typical portrait, each in different shapes and colors. Wait, is that? One of them seemed to stick out to you. Elisa? Precisely. Hold on, aren't these the special ones you talked about before? Oh, those? The ones that got passed around a bunch back in the academy? Indeed, you guys remember right, though they were sold only for a limited amount of time. They were to commemorate the inauguration of the new summer stage. Hold on, why am I the only one not recalling any of this at all? I mean, you aren't really one to pay attention to the latest fads anyway, Mr. Straight Face. Hey, what's that supposed to mean? Nothing. Either way, in this day and age, this might as well be a cultural artifact of significance. Can I keep this, Dave? I don't know, can you? Dave, I implore you to reconsider. Oh, that's his. You probably shouldn't. But, fine, whatever. It's not like I need it anyway. Well, enough about that. Do you know how to play cards, Dave? As a matter of fact, I do. I don't know if card games are the same as how they are back in my world. I suppose there's only one way to find out. If everyone is up for a round or two. Sure. Why not? Well, you can go ahead. I'll join back in a bit. I should watch the distance before it attracts the bugs. In that case, I'll help. Thanks, Max. As you and the others sat around, waiting for Kody to finish, Alex briefly explained to you the general rules of the cards. Despite the slightly different terminology used, you could more or less grasp that it worked pretty much the same as the card games you were familiar with. What surprised you was the amount of custom illustrations for each card, as pointed out before. The Sage's likeness have taken place of the typical face cards. Alex also explained that the queens and jacks of each suit were various historical heroes from the Sage's realm. Jokers, on the other hand, looked like 2 pairs of nether crystals and what appeared to be an interpretation of the Aether crystals. You noticed Kody approaching the fire pit as he finished his task, bringing what looked like a pendant blanket. Everyone quickly gathered around the impromptu picnic area you set up with Kody, just in time for Alex to announce the first round of games. It was a rule set called Ultra Local. The first person in turn determines a suit and number. Then the next person either tries to play by the exact number or suit, and the 8 card would be used to switch to a new suit. You just realized that this was suspiciously similar to a game back in your world. The box the card came and also had an X carved onto the top. Wow, pay attention, Dave. You just forfeited your turn. Oh, whoops. That's alright, it's my turn now. Oh, that's the last card I won. Max dropped the 6 of club onto the pile, which also was his last card on hand, much to the other's bewilderment. The Malamute was struggling to manage his cards at the start of the game, yet here he stood the victor. Oh, talk about lucky break. No way. Hey, congrats. Thank you. And so the game went on for a while. Alex did change the rule set to a few different ones. Some of you did recognize as poker, blackjack, or other types of card games you were familiar with. Either by sheer luck or skill, Max went on to win the next several rounds of games with Alex in tow. No one else seemed to be so lucky, though Alex eventually decided to end the game after he had finally won again. Soon enough, it was time for everyone to wind down. Everyone began to tie up the camp before heading to sleep. Matt seemed to have thought of a sleep schedule for each and everyone, despite his best intentions. However, some, including Kody, seemed far too restless to sleep. I want to change that to 2, like 2 restless to sleep, like 2 O's there. For within your tent, you can see Kody's tent still alight. What? So you go talk to him? Simming out of your tent, you went over to Kody's, lifting the flap to find the bear shirtless, mulling over a book in his lap. Not ready to sleep yet? Yeah, Dave, you scared the brown out of me. He looked down instinctively, making sure he wasn't being literal before returning to look at him. Sorry about that. Did I catch you reading something sensitive? I don't know, it's just my recipe book. I was figuring out what to make tomorrow. Kody flapped the leather-bound booklet for you to see. Trying to turn this music up so at least it can drown out the noise from the rain. You know, it's raining out here right now as I'm recording this. Sketches of dishes scribbled next to their respective recipes on the page. What about you? Couldn't sleep? I tried, but there's still a lot to parse after the last few days. He stepped into the tent, taking a seat beside Kody as he scooted over for you to fit inside with him. You too, huh? I haven't been able to stop thinking about that either. Hey Dave, yeah? Do you want to sleep here with me tonight? I was kind of hoping you asked. Are you sure it's alright though? I'm asking if you want because I want to, Dave. Right, I want to. You push yourself back outside the tent, sitting on the cool grass as you watch Kody rearrange his belongings inside the tent to make room for you. Once finished, he called you back in, patting the bedroll for you to join him. Settling on top of it, the bear draped a thin sheet over the both of you before finally dimming the crystal lantern hung above you. Good night, Dave. Good night, Kody. You closed your eyes and tried to sleep, lulled by the bear's warmth beside you. A few hours must have gone by as you tried to invade the night off. The only sounds being the breeze across the field and the footsteps of whoever had taken the night watch. You tried repositioning yourself, getting as comfortable as you could given the accommodations. Only to freeze when Kody spoke up. Dave? Sorry, Kody. Did I wake you up? No, I haven't been able to sleep either. Is something wrong? You shuffled around to face him though. His strong grip held you in place. He was worried you were going to get out of the bedding. Was he worried you were going to get out of the bedding. No, no, it's, do you remember that there was something I wanted to say? Back when you were riding here? Back when we were riding here? Yes, I think I'm ready. Ready for what, Kody? For us. I want to give us a chance. Your body was burning up instantly at the potential implications, though you swallowed them down, trying not to jump the gun. And chance to do what, Kody? You felt the bear shoving his face into the back of your neck, rubbing his face vigorously against your back. I'm sorry, did I misunderstand? Are you not? No, no, I just didn't want to assume. It's okay if you don't feel the same for me as I do for you, but I think I'm ready to love again. Kody. You touched the bear's paw, you pulled it away gently, finally allowing you to turn around and face him. The poor unsigned did his best to not look away, tears glistening in his eyes. His voice cracked a bit as he continued. You've only known each other for 2 weeks, but you've done so much in that time. You've been a welcome addition to my kitchen. I have more to look forward to every day. You pulled me out of a 4-year slump. It's all moving so fast. If these are really our final days ahead of us, I don't want to regret them by not acting on my past. I want you. I want us. I want to make memories that'll make life worth fighting for. So, Dave, will you have me as your? You say the bear, the embarrassment, resting your hand over his cheek, offering him the reassuring smile he needed. Of course, Kody, I'll be happy to be your boyfriend. There was a moment of dumbfounded silence as Cody's face lit up, eyes wide in bewilderment. His shoulders trembled with a restrained laughter that only escaped him in panting breaths. You opened your mouth to speak, only to feel your mouth suddenly invaded with saliva and faint traces of honey. Kody, overwhelmed with joy, had pulled you into a deep embrace, pressing his snout to yours. Clumsily, you pulled back just enough to get into a more comfortable position. Wrapping your arms around his torso the best you could, you came in for a proper kiss. This one a bit more tender, but no less enthusiastic than the last. You allowed yourself to melt fully into him. The night stood still, his hammering heartbeat the only proof that time had not indeed stopped. When you finally remembered that you needed air, you broke apart, taking deep breaths as he rolled onto your back. The bear's handsome, panting face comes back into view as he hovered above you, hands and knees flanking your sides. I guess we're a couple now. Yeah, we are. Praise the Maker for bringing you to me, Dave. I love you. I love you too, you big teddy bear. You really think he's the one that brought us together? It feels like you saying yes was nothing short of a miracle. The bear sighed, the adrenaline quickly departing from his body as the torrent of passion settled down. I think I'll be able to sleep well tonight. It seems like you aren't the only one. He nudged the erection that had slipped from his underwear with your knee. Oh, sorry, I was so excited. That's okay, Kody, I get it. You slyly spread your legs to reveal an erection of your own. A bright blush, along with a wide smile, spread across the bear's face. I'm happy I'm not the only one. He leaned down to give you another kiss before rolling back to your side. But maybe we should wait until we're somewhere safe to have some proper intimacy. Yeah, it would be bad if we got attacked mid. You both shared a laugh, the familiar rosiness returning to both your cheeks. Laying together, you shared details of your past relationships in broad terms. It was extremely rushed, though maybe not as much as speed dating used to be. And you were certain you wanted to take that risk for someone like Kody. When the excitement finally subsided, you were finally able to be in each other's presence without accidental prattling. You buried your face into his chest, feeling the warmth of his belly pressing to you. And it filled you with a much needed warmth in the breezy night. He took a deep breath of his scent, exhaling it in a giggling sigh, drifting off to sleep in your lover's embrace. To be continued. So, Kody finally told Dave his true feelings for him, that he loves him. That was very nice. And Dave telling Kody that he loves him too. I enjoyed that. So, the soldiers talked about this fog appearing in the area, and they believe it's coming from Ashford. Cody's former assistant that we had to fight. So, yeah, it's still causing trouble. But anyway, I really enjoyed that. And we got to talk to the other soldiers and the secretary and the general himself who runs the city, and go to different parts of the city. So even though the environment is kind of like grayish or silver, it's still kind of good, to see other places besides Crystal Coast. So yeah, I'm happy for both. I'm really happy for both Kody and Dave. I only wish for them to get even more closer as the days go on, in their quest to defeat the evil king. So, thank you all very much for watching. Goodbye.